Hello everyone, this is Lean and welcome back to the Rachelle Anne Miller YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing this new image from the bonus release and this one is called Christmas Mice. It's just adorable. So I decided to make an extra video here and share this one with you. As I said, it's a bonus release, and in the past the bonus release was one image. Now this month you are in for a treat because there are 3 images out there for you that were newly released, and I just love all of them. I didn't have the time to make something with all of them, but to celebrate this extra release, I decided to make 2 cards. So today I'm sharing this card here, and somewhere later today I will share a second card on my YouTube channel, and I'm hoping that I can convince you to check it out as well because it is just so adorable. So first of all, I printed this image onto Translucite Perfect Coloring paper. The sentiment is also provided with this digital stamp, and I just thought it was so lovely. I love the script. I love just what it says, the little moments that matter the most, and then with this image it's just pure beauty. So I printed it out on Translucite Perfect Coloring paper and I'm coloring with my Copic markers. Now, the first time trying a glow around these lights with my markers, so it was a bit out of my comfort zone, but just doing it this way was still kind of simple. I will not do this every time, I'm sure of that, because it took me a bit longer than how I would usually color it, but I think this glow really adds something. And then in the end I will also add some glossy accents to the candle and the star, and it just adds so much more. I'm not going to create a background because I just found this image so precious. Well, I most of the time do with Rachelle Anne Miller's images. From time to time I just think that they don't need a background, but if you want to add a background, you do that. It will be gorgeous. There are so many possibilities. I just tend to go for clean and simple, and in this case I try to keep it as simple as possible to let these images shine on its own. So that's what I try doing. So for the second mouse, I decided to use another color combination. You can do them the same gray, you can even use browns. There are so many colors of mice, so definitely do you. I tend to, when I have a female and a male figure, or how I interpret it, I personally tend to go for a lighter color combination for the female. I don't know why, it's not needed, but that's my reasoning behind these colors and why I use them. So also about the coloring, maybe it can be handy. There are many ways to color with your alcohol markers. I use Copic markers, but any alcohol marker is the same principle. You can go in many different ways. I tend to go from darkest to lightest, but there are many people that prefer adding first a coat of the lightest marker and then work their way through their combination. Everything is an option. You just need to figure it out what you prefer doing. In the past I tried all of them and they all work. I can agree on that. But lately, since this year, I think I tended to always do darkest to lightest. Go back in there at least 2 layers most of the time to get my blend and my depth that I wanted. And then that's how I work through my coloring. But you do you do what you feel comfortable with and what gives you that gorgeous end result that you're looking for. And if it isn't working out, maybe try another method and see what works for you, and just keep growing in the coloring. It also is the same for pencil and stuff. The more you will try it, the better you will get in it, and the more confident you will get to use those mediums, and you will have so much more fun once you got really to know your medium. So here for my greens. As I said, it was the first time trying the glow. So I first added the glow, then I worked around the glow, and then I had to get that blend. Now at first here I thought it was just really weird. The tree wasn't green completely and in my head it just didn't work. So after the glow was added, I just went over it mostly with the greens, and I still had sort of a glowy feel, which was great. But I definitely went over that lightest yellow that I used for the glow to get that tree kind of idea behind it. And I'm really glad with how it turned out. But again, it's the first time. I still need to get used to it. But if we never try, we will never learn. So therefore, I thought that it was a nice idea to try it here and maybe inspire you to also start trying something that you haven't done yet, or to try the glow if you haven't done that like me, and just have fun with the image. So here I'm going again over the glow, and while glowing and stuff, it would have been really pretty with a dark background, I think. But then again, I really like the image so much, and I just wanted to keep it this way. I don't know why necessarily, but I think it's enough as well. You can add a background definitely, but you do what you feel comfortable with. And for this card, I just thought, let's keep it as is and just let that image shine on its own. So for the female mouse, I decided to go with pinks and then add this R39 to give it something extra and a bit more drama or contrast. And then I worked my way towards the R81. If you're curious towards the colors that I used on these images and each part of the image, since you're here, in the description box you can find the Copic combos as well as on my blog post. And then you have something to refer to if you are curious to which colors I used here without having to replay the video completely. Anything can help. So for this little guy, I decided to go with blue because I already had green, and this way I sort of have all the rainbow colors on my card. And then I must admit, the mat, where they are standing on, it gave me some trouble, and you will see it throughout this video. I started with soft brownish color. I didn't want it to be too dark. I also didn't want to add another color because I already was going all the way with those colors and the glow and all those things. So I thought I just keep it simple. But you will see that it will change later on. It will actually change twice after this because I just wasn't feeling the colors that I used. So this is the coloring for now. And then to create a card with it, I took the Waffle Flowers A2 layer die. It's a really handy basic die set with A2 rectangles in it and different sizes. I decided to create a frame, and when I do that with two dies, I tend to first add them together on my craft mat just with some purple tape and then place it over top of my images. This way I can sort of see with my mat whether the spacing is right, and then once I have sort of secured it in place, then I can bring it to my panel. Now in this case, for my image itself, I only needed the smaller rectangle, but I thought I was going to add some pattern paper, and just having a wide frame as well, I could double the frame up. It's a really subtle thing, but I did it and I like it. So this pattern paper is Farm Fresh Holiday from Honeybee Stems, and there are some lovely brownish pattern papers inside of it, and I love these stripes. So I decided to also cut this frame out of this paper, and I'm keeping the excess always in the same pocket that I have here. This pocket is from My Favorite Things. You also have Avery L, and I suppose many other brands that give you pockets. I just trim it down a bit more because they are too large, and then I put everything with the paper pack and the leftovers in that same bag. Now I tried here to fix the mat and I sort of hoped that I mimicked the brown from the stripes, but it didn't work out. So if you want the color that I have in my end result, forget about these markers because they aren't in it. But second attempt to get that mat perfect. or rug. I think it's a rug for you guys. Well, you know what I mean. It was a struggle. So once I thought I had the color, I trimmed that frame out, and then I saw that it wasn't at all what I needed. So here I inlaid the panel, and I was like, that brown isn't working at all. So I took that leftover piece of brown pattern paper and went over my hexagon mat thingy hex chart. It's a hex chart from Sandy Elnock. So I thought, well, now I have it, but my rug was already too dark, so I just went on there with my colorless blender to get rid of most of the color that was going to be too dark, and then I went over it with this marker. Now a lot of layers, then the colorless blender, then the marker again, so it started bleeding, which is not something that happens often, but don't forget that I pushed here that color away with the colorless blender, so it went a bit away towards the edges. I fixed it, colorless blender again, and heat setting in between so that it would dry, and that's my image. The rug actually only has one color now, but that's perfectly fine. So I doubled up the frame as I said I was going to do, and then I could add everything to my card base. And I must admit, the more that I look at the image with the glow, the more that I am starting to like the glow, because it's just really adorable. And I think it sort of worked out for the first time, and so I appreciate small things, or the littlest things, if I can refer to the littlest moments in the sentiment. So first adding that frame, and then I will inlay the panel with the mice. Here you can really see that I used a lot of markers on that rug. The more you can see on the outside, the more layers you actually added. So if you have a difficult blend and you turn your paper around, normally where you're blending really heavily, that you will really see coming through. But it's fun. Nobody knows except you guys. So once it was added, I decided to add glossy accents to the star as well as to the candle. Now my glossy accent is really liquidy and there is a lot coming out all at once. So I just use a little needle to spread it into those areas, those corners. And once I did that, I also added it to the noses. And once I was happy, I called this card finished. So this is my card. I truly hope that you enjoyed this small video. Don't forget that there is more inspiration coming later on today on my YouTube channel and on Instagram. A lot of the design team members created cards with these new images, so definitely check it out and get inspired and have fun with these new bonus releases. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope to see you next time. Have an incredible day. Bye!